Okay, so welcome to the latest edition of Everybody's Lion. I am your host, Harvey Banks. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you may be listening, first of all, thank you. Go ahead and leave a 5-star rating, leave a review, share this with a friend. If you happen to be watching on YouTube right now, also, I super duper appreciate that. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, all that super dope stuff that you guys do to let these tech companies know that this is the type of content that you like to consume on a Monday evening when, you know, protecting your energy is the only thing that you really care about, and they are big mad about it. Let's get into it. All right, so let's start this right here. I have lived through a whole bunch of phases of being, I feel like, in my lifetime. And I know that's probably not a significant thing. Like, everybody's like, yo, we all changed. We all went through shit. I do know that change is like the only constant we can count on. And as we grow, we all tend to like shed one skin and find a new skin, per se. I don't know. I don't really like that analogy. I don't know why I just gave that. I don't like that one. But you guys understand what I'm saying, right? I feel like maybe I've been through like more changes than the average person. And I understand that saying that might come off a little bit, you know, narcissistic, but I only live in my world. So I don't really know how else to explain it. Like, I don't really mean it in a narcissistic way. I just mean it in a, when I think back through the experiences that shaped me, I've got like significant experiences that when I share them with other people, like people react to them in a way that often also shocks me. Like, oh, that's not normal, or you've never been through that. Okay. Why did I have to go through those things? You know what I mean? And I feel like I had to pay for a lot of lessons that other people just kind of either was living the type of life that you got to skip it, or you just you never knew about this type of existence in life. And people go through different things too, man. So like, if we're talking like poverty, yeah, I had to deal with that, but like people had to deal with that way worse than I did. So like, I'm not trying to say that my experiences were worse than everyone else's experiences. All I'm trying to say is I feel like the sheer magnitude of things that I had to experience and like simply react to may have been more than average. Here recently, I've been like the present last couple months or so, I think I have been reacting to a bunch of things that has been out of character if you put it into context of the person that I've become today. So like, I do feel like I'm in my final form. I'll get more into that here soon. But like, so within this era of me, even like if you microdose it down to like these last, I don't know, month, 2 months, I've been forced to react to things that like, I just felt like I should have been better at. I felt better about in the past. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm going to share some stuff with you guys tonight just because I'm starting to kind of realize that people can connect to my story a little bit more than I thought. So I've thought that like, maybe I just get on a podcast and I'll share generic advice and they'll get it. And some people do get it. And I get responses and I get like feedback like, yeah, that shit was dope what you said and that was a good advice. But I've learned that when I share like my real stories about things, that's usually when people are like, oh. And then in doing so, a lot of times like they'll say something back to me and it'll clarify some things in my brain too. So I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but I don't really have much of a relationship with my family outside of the people that live in my household, like my wife and my kids and stuff. And it's always been, how do I say this? My relationship to my family has always been this roller coaster thing. And I want to be clear that I'm not saying that it's always been like a thing that they have put me through. I've been a rider on this roller coaster. I think I've also been the conductor on this thing, or I've also been, the dude that's kind of sending it up and down sometimes. I'm aware of that. I feel like nowadays, kind of more than ever, the things that made me the way I am, to me, feel super obvious. And I feel like my family and the people that cause me the most angst in life right now, they never understand that side of it. Like, they never understand there's a reason that it's this way. And yes, I could probably just get over it. Should probably just get over it, because who am I, right? Like, I'm not perfect. I know I've made mistakes. I'll continue to do it. And me holding on to, I guess you could call it, this grudge, probably benefits nobody to them. Let me explain my side of this. The current phase that I'm in now is I have fully embraced that I think I'm the lone wolf. And I say that not because growing up I wanted to be the lone wolf, not because now I want to be the lone wolf, but my experiences and the things that I know have forced me into the position that I have to be the lone wolf. And now that I'm in that position, I've gotten good at it. And I'm realizing the better I get at being the lone wolf, the bigger of a problem it becomes for others. And I'm not trying to demonize nobody. I'm not trying to put blame on nobody. I've moved through that phase of blame, right? And so the actions that I take today of maybe not really responding to text messages from family, not attending events, just kind of the zero contact, those actions aren't as like punishment. Those actions are for protection, and it's protecting me, because for the first time in a very long time, like I really have a solid foundation and a solid understanding of who I am and who I've become. And I've been able to find like real genuine happiness in this. And I'm not happy because I'm away from people that I love and people that love me. I'm not happy because, I'm putting someone through something that they may have put me through. I'm happy because like I've just come to terms with like, hey, some things just are. And when you accept that some things just are, it then becomes your responsibility. Since you have the awareness that some things just are, you then have the responsibility of saying, I got to figure out how to fucking move this thing forward. And a lot of times moving this forward just kind of means the end. And as much as you feel peace, and the further away you get and the more alone the lone wolf becomes, you don't have the opportunities to like reach back and clarify things. Keep pushing, because you're eventually going to get to the place where you really don't need to clarify anything else. But you're going to hit this point where it's like, hey, I got time tonight. So like, let me explain why this isn't really about you and this is about me. And the irony is you're probably still going to be looked at like the big bad wolf instead of the lone wolf, but fuck it. That's the path we chose. You know what I'm saying? And as I was mentioning before, family, friends, lovers, people in relationships, situationships, once you decide that distance is the best thing for you, and that like just protecting this person that you are, protecting your peace and all this is the path that you want to go down, the only thing that they can do in response is try to demonize you. And so what I do when people try to demonize me, one, if what they're saying is just like unequivocally false, if it's not real, then I come back with the facts and I leave it at that. You can do what you want. When the conversation goes beyond facts, I just kind of let shit stand where it needs to be. So like, if you feel how you feel, whether or not I agree with how you feel, I'm okay with it just being that way. Now, how do I say this? I don't feel like I'm above explanation. I just value my peace a little bit more now because my responsibility to others that are fighting for me, that don't play about me. Like, I've got people in my life right now that just don't play about me. And so I have a responsibility to them to continue to be a solid rock, to continue to be the person that they know now, who ain't got nothing to do with that shit from my past, who ain't got nothing to do with, all of these pent up aggressions and all this stuff from the past. They don't know nothing about that. But the healed person I've presented, they've latched onto. They don't play about me. So I don't play about them. So I try to be that source of stability if possible. And it's very difficult for me to be that and to also be family nigga that just overlooks a whole bunch of shit. So I think about, 2 months ago, I sat in the couch on the opposite side of this room and I was essentially saying that I'm okay if I die and it's like this. And that sounded like a bold, crazy statement. And I've been known to make bold, crazy statements. So I'm pretty sure that people that knew me and definitely people that knew the situation probably took that as here he goes again. Oh, he's willing to die with it. He makes it. I don't know other words to put it that way, to put it. So that's what I mean when I say that. I'm actually willing to, if we go and we never speak again, whatever version of the truth that you got, you can keep that version. I am not here to argue back and forth with you. What I will do is I will tell the facts for myself and for other people that have been put into lone wolf situations, that you back them into a corner and that once they start responding by protecting themselves, you try to demonize them. So let's start with the facts. Perhaps my issues with family started a long time ago, and it wasn't actually based off of something that I did or had any control over. See, because one thing that doesn't get talked about is everybody that I knew growing up, probably with the exception of my grandma, everybody I knew growing up, they made decisions based on what was best for them. Everybody did that. And listen, I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to demonize them. I'm not trying to say that they fucked up. I'm not trying to say that's a fucked up thing they did, because as an adult now, looking back, yeah, it's possible that they was just kind of doing the best that they could for them at the time, because maybe they don't know no better. But how that plays into you as a kid is, I have zero control over the situation that's taking place, and I'm being told to just adapt to it. So at 13 years old, my mother, and I don't really care what version of the story she's going to tell you or she would tell you, but she know the true story. She know the version. And this version right here, real version. My mother pulls me into her room one night and says to me, she met somebody on the internet. She was in love with this person. And that this might have been like a Tuesday. And on the weekend, she was going to be moving to a different state with my sister to be with this person. Now, mind you, in the household at this time, it's me, my mother, and my sister. My sister might be 8 at the time, 7. So yeah, she's like, I found somebody, I'm in love, and I'm moving. You think you want to go with me, or you just want to stay here? Like, what are you thinking? And and listen, I'm not trying to say it probably wasn't a difficult conversation for her to have with me at the time, but this is the facts and this is what happened. So like, one, you put me on the spot talking about you want to leave or you want to stay. Honey, I ain't been nowhere else. I don't know what you talking about. I'm staying in the house that my grandma owns, in the town that I know, with the friends that I know, and the family that I'm used to. Why the fuck would I want to leave states? First of all. So like, come on. What choice did I have? I ain't really have much of a choice, but that ain't the end of the story. Oh no. So like I said, that was probably Tuesday. She's like, yeah, we're going to be packing up and we're leaving over the weekend. This is what I was told. Next day, I go to school. I get out of school. I used to ride the bus to the YMCA. We used to hoop at the YMCA after school. I know you kids won't believe this. We used to be super active. We used to like ride the bus from the school to the YMCA and just literally play pickup basketball 7:30, 8 o'clock until you got picked up. This was a like super cheap version of after school program that wasn't really an after school program. People just would come and hoop and it was safe and you could come and then pick your kids up, yada, yada, whatever. I'm whatever. But I go to the YMCA. I play ball like normal. Now, mind you, my mom also works at this YMCA, but she's not there. So I get to the Y. I literally remember going back to her office. Like I can see it like it was yesterday. Walk in the Y doors. It's the front counter where they greet you at. Down this way is the gym. This way is the pool. Right here are the offices, right? I duck off to the left, go in to try to go to my mom's office. Doors closed. I don't really think much about it. Nobody in the office, I don't think, maybe knew. I don't know that part of the story too much, but like, I was like, whatever, she ain't here. I go start hooping. I'm hooping, and then it's late. And so, shout out Buddha one time. So like my cousin, Brandon was there. He's hooping. This was the thing to do then, pick up basketball. And he was just like, yo, I'm going to get you a ride home tonight. I said, oh, okay, no big deal. My mom must be somewhere. She must be busy. She might be at the crib already. Like, and she just told Buddha, hey, can you bring him home? That's not that weird. So we get done hooping. It's probably 7:30, 8 o'clock. Buddha take me back to the crib. Wednesday, mind you, she tells me Tuesday, she might be leaving Saturday. I get back to the crib, she gone. She gone. I don't know. I still to this day don't know in which order she told my grandma or anyone else in my family that she was leaving, but like she was just pretty much gone. And so it's like, okay, cool. I guess I told you I wasn't going with you, so why stick around? Do what you need to do. And so I'm 13 at the time, and it's like, I remember my grandma saying like, you can't really stay down there by yourself, yada, yada. And mind you, I'm not trying to say she's the worst parent in the world or nothing like that. Cause at 13, I didn't think that about my mom. I was upset at how she left, but I didn't think she was the worst person in the world. I ain't gonna lie to you. That Saturday, I'm pretty sure me and my homeboy Casey had some girls over to the house. One of them, she spent the night. I finger banged the shit out of her all night long. I was thinking nothing about that. Got up, went to church on Sunday like it was nothing. Then I remember on Sunday night, my grandma was like, well, you can't just be staying down there in that house by yourself. And I was like, damn, party over, right? So then she was like, I'm going to have your cousin Shavanica move in the house with you. And so like my cousin Shavanica at the time was probably like 22, maybe 23, maybe 20. She might have even been younger than that. And So she moves in the house with me. So it's me and Shavanica and her daughter, who's an infant at the time, but she be splitting time with her daddy, but like a real life infant. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, I'm 13 years old. Eventually, her boyfriend move in. I better not say his name. We call him Birdman. He called me Birdman Jr. That's my boy, man. I miss him. But anyways, he move in. He do what he do to get money. You know what that mean. He do what he do. They in a toxic relationship, as in like at any given point, at any given night at 1 to 2 a.m., I might be waking up to a something breaking. They literally fist fighting. I remember she shot up the hallway one night at, yo, dog, I'm telling you, I was probably in a better situation with my mama just leaving because this was not a great situation. So a little bit of time passes, and by a little bit, I mean we talking maybe a month and a half to 2 months, right? I had not stopped going to school, but like school wasn't that important. I'm living the life of a 13-year-old kid that can just do whatever I want. I think I had turned 14. I'm getting pussy already. So I'm running women in and out of there like it's nothing, right? I got the studio set up in the bedroom. All my niggas is coming through. I got all these records we throwing on. So I had like actual vinyl records, and singles used to get shipped out. So we was a part of a record pool. Singles get shipped out. You get the new single. On the other side of that, you got the instrumental. I put the instrumental on. We was rapping into tapes, like everything. We had the little studio set up in the bedroom. All my niggas was over there all the time. It was nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what we was doing. And so school was like it was not something I was focused on when I should have been, but I just wasn't, right? I was playing ball at the time, kinda. I gave up on that shit too, because I was missing practice to meet girls for an hour or two after school. You know what I'm saying? And so grades went to shit, stopped going to school. Essentially, you know, yada yada, some shit happens, and they like, yo, you can't play ball no more. You can't keep missing school, this and that. So at 14, what do I do when being faced with adversity that was due to my own decisions? I bounced. So I said, cool, I'm finna run up to where my mom at. And I'm moving over there. And it's, you know what I'm saying? And they allowed that to happen. So instead of having to face accountability, I ran, and let's just start this thing over. Same shit happened, bro. I was on the same shit because by the time I got to my mama, I'm going to be honest with you, it was like I got to my mama and it was like the respect you have, like the thing you have, that mother-son relationship had been altered. I was off the porch already. So like I still was going to listen to what my mama had to say, but like her like trying to tell me what to do or give me game was like literally funny to me at certain points. And not that I should have still had more respect, but I just didn't. That's where I'm at. And so, yeah, I probably should have had more respect than that, but I didn't. So I get there. I do the same shit. I start fucking off. I ain't going to school. I meet girls to fuck on. I start doing that shit. And then I get in a little trouble. Grades ain't what they was. I dip. I say, fuck this shit. I'm going back home. They let me do it. I move in with my grandma at this point. I'm back at school at this point. Like, I remember I grew my hair out real long. I had cornrows. You get back. Once you gone for a while and you get back, crazy thing happens. The hoes multiply, right? So I'm still not super focused on what I need to be doing. It comes to a head again and I gotta go. Like, that one wasn't really my choice. Either way, I get sent back up the road to be with my moms, right? And so I'm with my moms. I go through high school. I graduate, you know, all that shit. And it's like all these were different stages of not being forced to take accountability. But the reason I was never forced to take accountability was because there was nobody that was a consistent in my life that wasn't also just doing what the fuck was best for them. So I think internally, the guilt of the adults around me did not allow them to hold me accountable, because what's that shit gonna mean? Once again, everybody was doing what was best for them. Fast forward 10 years, I got kids with, women that you get along with, you don't get along with, yada, yada. I'm not even going to get into all of that. Kids I don't get along with, you do this and that. I be trying to do the best that I can a lot. I fucked up a lot. But like, my intentions was normally pretty good. Not always, but I've always had this battle with intention versus like the outcome of my actions. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm at a place. I moved past that. We moved past a lot of that, even family wise. Moved past a lot. Boom. Situations happened that was literally outside of my control. Literally. Like, car gets stolen. Car was the form of income at the time. Spirals out of control. We lose the house we in. We go homeless. And we just trying to figure it out. I'm living in motels, you know what I'm saying? Doing what I can do to just try to make enough money to make it. Job opportunity comes up in Nashville, which is close to my grandma. So like me, my wife, two of my kids, we start staying at my grandma's house while I am doing this. I am in this program. I'm in this training. It's paid. It's a job, but like it's in Nashville. And I don't necessarily have the money right now to get a place to live, but like I can just stay at my grandma's and it's cheaper to just commute back and forth every day. So boom, I'm doing this thing and it feels like all love. Like we first get there and my grandma's like, stay here. Y'all can stay here. That way they don't have to be out in how the motel works. If you don't got money to pay for like a week at a time, you paying day by day. Sometimes you might not have the money yet. You got to get out. So we was just living out the car pretty much. We was sleeping in hotels and shit, but like, you know what I'm saying? And so like my grandma's like, boom, just stay here. So I'm like, didn't really want to do it because I had just built this hardened place anyways, just with all this different kind of animosity. And I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not really a move backwards kind of nigga. I finally realized that was pride. So I was like, let me move my pride aside. My son was probably 3 months at the time. He just turned 3 years old today too. Shout out Nigel. I love you, boy. But my son, he was like 3 months at the time, maybe 4, maybe 6 months. I don't know. He was a little bit older than that, but he's really comfortable at my grandma's house. My daughter also loves like the time she's getting to spend at my grandma's house. So I just say, fuck it, suck it up, do what you got to do. Plus my grandma seemed like she was super happy to have us there. And then like slowly I start to hear things about like my mom has an issue with us staying with my grandma. And I was like, that's crazy, but whatever. Then I start to hear this thing consistently. Other family members. Oh, your cousin got something to say. And I'm like, nigga, that's interesting because never mind. But like you start to hear these things and it's like, oh, the people that you thought really cared about you. And when you finally get to this place that you're willing to let some of this shit go, it show back up. And it show back up at a time that make you just want to be like, what? Nah, that's crazy. What? They said what about me? They saying I'm what? Okay, cool. So I got to go to Texas, right, for a training. This was a week. During the Texas trip, my grandma had already planned a trip out of state to see my mom's. Mind you, it's also where we was living at, me and my wife at before this. So my wife goes up to Indiana to stay with them, with the kids while I'm in Texas. That way she's not at my grandma's house by herself. And the whole time my wife is there, they throwing shade at her and my kids. Like, y'all shouldn't be living. Y'all shouldn't be living with in Granny's house and this and that, making her feel a certain way. I can't do nothing about it though. My situation, I can't really do nothing about it. But like, I don't forget that shit. And the things, the way she told me, you could tell it hurt her. She was uncomfortable. All this shit, bro. I don't really know what my responsibility to everybody is, but I know what my responsibility to her is and to my kids that don't deserve none of that shit. But when I'm around, it's all smiles, hugs, and it ain't none of that bullshit. So it's like, okay, cool. Okay, cool. Older kids that act like they don't really want to fuck with me no more. That's cool. It's based on nothing. It's based on nothing. Go to bed telling yourself whatever you want to, but that shit be based on nothing. So what am I supposed to do with all of that shit? And I'm still trying to hold shit together. What you do is you just move on. And that's what I did. And nobody had a problem when I was struggling, when I was suffering. But once you start to move on, as soon as I started to be like, you know what? I'm protecting what's mine and my peace and moving on. Now niggas got problems. Interesting. Now I'm a demon. Interesting. A lone wolf. He's aggressive. You fucking right. I'm aggressively protecting what my peace is. I don't be out here trying to do bad to nobody. I don't wish bad on nobody. I just don't be. I just don't be in those places that I'm not wanted. I just don't talk to those people that don't play about me. I know what it's like to have niggas not play about me now. I ain't never really felt that before. I'm protecting that. I don't want none of that other shit no more. Y'all made me the lone wolf. My experiences uniquely qualified me to be the lone wolf. And now I'm here. I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm going to continue to protect my peace. That don't mean I'm never going to talk to none of you. That don't mean it's always up. It ain't up. I'm just done. I'm just not participating. Whatever you want it to be, that's fine. I'm in my final form. And how do I know I'm in my final form? Because I've never wanted to protect my peace more than I do right now.